tell you. Hey, coming up next is Marvel News number 117, and we're going to talk about the next big event Marvel's going to do after AVX. It's going to be cosmic in nature.
The cosmos.
We're also going to talk about Neil Adams coming back to Marvel and working his Batman Odyssey magic over there. And then we're going to wrap up with the final exam of the Avengers Assemble. All that and more coming right up.
You got through that with a...
When Bo starts talking Marvel News, hey, shut up. Bo's talking Marvel News.
When the nerd folk all get together at night, you know they all call Big Bo boss. Marvel News, episode 117, Glow in the Park Knickers.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for...
Marvel News Time.
Marvel News Time! And Marvel News Time is coming to you from this place. Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood.
Beautiful,
Where the tar bubbles up right in front of the store, and you can look at it in the summertime just going,
Hey look, a pterodactyl!
yes, the pterodactyl sinks slowly into it. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone, especially all my Marvel comics. This Marvel News update was going to start off with AVX is the big event that's coming up, wrapping up I should say, sometime real soon. But the next big event coming from Marvel is going to go into the cosmic part of the Marvel Universe, and that's going to be what?
Well, Marvel's been teasing this big cosmic thing. Thanos came back in Avengers Assemble.
And of course, who's at the end of the Avengers movie?
Thanos is
Not
the end of
Thanos.
that. The Guardians of the Galaxy showed up in the last page of the latest issue of Avengers Assemble. And so Marvel's got something big planned for the cosmic stuff, which doesn't involve Abnett and Lanning, although we think they may have something to do with it.
Abnett and Lanning, of course, are the cosmic guys over at Marvel and have been ever since Annihilation.
And since Resurrection Man got canceled, they kind of got some free time on their hands. So the cosmic event has to do with Nova, the Protector, who this week in Avengers was basically put in a really unusual spot. Miss Marvel, who's getting her own book, and the revived and no longer dead Captain Marvel.
Well, Ms. Marvel is Captain Marvel now, isn't she?
She's Captain Marvel, but the original Captain Marvel in pages of Secret Avengers has come back to life.
Oh, really?
He's alive.
How did that happen?
The Kree brought him back through science and magic.
Sounds like BS to me.
Nobody really does.
Marvel is back from the dead, huh?
Yes. Marvel.
Kick the cancer, huh? Kick the big C.
Blew him out.
That's great.
Bring Nitro back.
You see, folks, if you have cancer at home, you have my condolences. But help is on the way from the Kree, who through a combination of magic and science can take care of all your cancer problems.
They can't be trusted.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes,
Laughter is the best.
And they're the most hilarious race in the cosmos.
Over at DC, follow me, over at DC, Neil Adams came back and did Batman Odyssey, which was a wonderful 12-issue series, which showed exactly why Neil Adams probably shouldn't be back in comics. But
He was still drawing up a storm, but
the art was fine.
The art was
writing
okay. The art was
wasn't.
okay. The art
That
was
was the people. Most people complained about the writing.
story was a little convoluted.
The art, okay.
It still looks like
It's
Neil
not
Adams.
Neil
Well, it looks like
Adams'
it looks like
best,
Neil
right?
Adams.
It's
but-
1970s, 1980s,
Right,
1990s Neil
it's
Adams,
not
but he's
his
still,
best,
for a guy.
You know what it was? It
he's
was
done pretty well.
it looked a lot like Jack Kirby's very end of his Marvel art, as opposed to his early '60s art. Kirby's art in the late '70s, when he was wrapping up his last stint at Marvel, got real loosey goosey.
All his characters had really
Yeah,
good
Adams
feet.
on a bad day could still outdraw most of the guys.
I'm not comparing to him. I'm just saying Adams' art looks kind of loosey goosey compared to what it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Well, it's because
Granted.
Dick Giordano's no longer alive.
Well, yeah, Dick Giordano inked all of his stuff over.
Right,
DC.
Tom Palmer's inking his stuff now, and Palmer's inking style and Giordano's inking style are totally different.
Well, Palmer inked all of his stuff at X-Men.
Yeah.
Way back when. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up is
Neil is working.
Marvel has decided that, hey, DC used him for 12 issues of Batman Odyssey. Bet we could use him for X-Men. He worked on that once.
Yes, he did.
And so we're going to have...
He and Christos Gage, who actually... Gage announced this on his Twitter account months ago, and Marvel wouldn't tell us exactly what it is, but he and Adams are doing a 5-issue limited series called The First X-Men, which will reveal why Professor X decided to actually form the X-Men, because...
Hasn't that question been answered?
No, actually, it really hasn't been. It hasn't been answered, and so Adams went, well, since I worked in the book way back then, and didn't he bring Professor?
Oh, I know why. He did it to sell comics.
Well, Back then, yeah. And now, even now.
I will form the X-Men in order to sell a buttload of comics.
That was
The
just a
first
delightful-
X-Men will have
was
Professor
just a delightful
Xavier, I
sci-fi.
guess, in the transition point behind walking and not walking.
Yes.
Wolverine's going to be in it, Sabretooth. This is actually, if you picked up a copy of Avengers 1959,
Yeah,
it's kind of like in the same
those
vein.
folks.
It's in the same vein.
It's going to transfer over, sort of, kind of. From
Sort
there.
of, kind of, and actually what Marvel said is this is all continuity. So it's not something that just happens in this limited series. Stuff that happens in this thing will affect everything X-Men related as well.
Okay. As everyone knows that there reads Avengers Assemble, the kids in Avengers Assemble are
Academy.
Academy. I'm sorry, Academy. Avengers Academy. The kids in Avengers Academy are training. They're sort of like the Teen Titans. They're training to be superheroes of the future. And coming up
Because-
soon,
yeah.
they're about to have their final exam.
Well, the
At
thing-
least one of them is.
Yeah, the thing about Avengers Academy was Norman Osborn, way back when, he had all these kids and he was doing experiments on them. He was trying to see how far their powers could go, and he was more or less trying to turn them into villains. Then these characters popped up in Avengers Academy. At the end of Avengers Academy #1, we found out that Marvel wasn't having these kids here because they thought they'd be the new heroes. Marvel brought these kids here to stop them becoming the next big villains in the Marvel universe.
Marvel did or Osborn?
Oh, well, the Avengers did. The
Avengers did.
Yeah, the Avengers did. So we don't
As
want
you
to-
said, Marvel did.
Yeah.
Marvel publishes the books.
That's
They
true,
don't.
they
They don't
publish.
decide what Norman Osborn does with the kids.
But in the first issues, you saw a character named Jeremy Briggs who's been popping up in the Avengers Assemble Academy off and on, and he's trying to get the other students to come with him because he says he wants to save the world. Although the team sort of looks at him and goes, "We don't believe a word you're saying." Well, he's asked him to join his group once,
Twice.
He asked him
3
twice.
times.
and so the third time, he's not going to be so nice, assy.
You're gonna put a bullet in their heads.
He's going to basically just have a couple of the other young teenage characters come in. They're going to attack each other, and this will be the book in which the kids that are hanging around the Avengers Academy will eventually just sort of move on, and they'll rotate out, and they'll go and figure out whether they want to be heroes, whether they want to be villains, or whether they even want to be whether they want to use their powers at all.
Okay. So you got that to look forward to, and that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We've got no more Marvel news, but go to the store's
Don't
website.
cry, Jeff!
Go to
Don't
the store's
cry!
website. Go to the store's website and check out all of the Marvel news that this guy sends me that I post up. Bo,
Yes.
take it.
Sarah, tell these fine people exactly where the website is, although by now you should have figured it out by now.
God, you think you know this by now. www.myalternatereality.com. Am I your mother or something?
So stop off at the store's website. Check out all of his
Stop
news, and until
off.
next time, this
you
is
know
Comic
what
Book
it
Man
And this is Bo.
saying
What?
Norman Osborn sucks!
bye. Lots of stores can make lots of claims about themselves, but only I can make the claim that nobody has ever paid full price for a new comic here at Alternate Reality. Since 1994, every new comic that's walked out the door has been discounted 15% off. So if you want to save 15% off your new comics, there's only one place to come, and that's Alternate Reality.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.